I already have a video ready. Okay, so you might be thinking, because the screen is black right now, and since all you hear is my voice, that like the video was pretty much clickbait. Well, I kind of wanted to do that for this guy. That levels that he wanted me to do otherwise were for GodDawg. Since that's his thing. Yeah, there is a screenshot. He wanted me to do these levels, right? And besides the fact that he's the one that makes me do most of the levels and stuff in my series. Like, if you bug me and stuff, like saying that you wanted me to do like maybe 50 or for your levels, like if they're all good levels, if they all make me have a good time, they're all well made, they all, you know, good effects and stuff, then that's perfectly fine, right? But this guy, on the other hand, GodDawg here, yeah, sup man, if you're already beginning to question what's going on, well, have you even played your own levels? Here's the thing, like some of his levels are pretty crappy when it comes to like how they look. But like, if there's good gameplay, then there's good gameplay, because I sometimes play like recent levels and stuff like that, just because I have nothing else to do, right? And then the levels, most of them don't even look that good, but then if they play out well, right? Like maybe the jump rings are placed correctly, and then like basically they're like it just gives you like a smooth experience, then that's good enough for me. I don't know about you guys. And this guy, like some of his levels would look rather crappy, right? And I'm talking about by appearance. And but now the thing that's supposed to save him from it is having it play out well, and you know, like if I forget to tap this jump ring, I actually immediately get killed instead of giving a second and a half of going into the sky. The level I just mentioned, the gameplay footage, that's from what was it called, Bloodshed. Now it wasn't just him that made the level; it was him and this guy, iShots. No, that's not it. I can't remember the name. You'll just see a screenshot right there, because I can't remember at this moment, because I'm not playing the game right now. I'm just in front of the camera. Not the camera. I'm just in front of the mic with just staring into the screen, because it kind of shows like the level of my voice on the OBS thing. Okay, and then the next level that he wanted me to do, that was the one he was the most hyped for. It was this level where he wanted it to be a demon, but here's the thing: number one rule about Geometry Dash, it has to be a possible level. It can't be broken. It can't be like. He uploaded an auto version of the level, which was his original. I got stuck at the beginning, not because it was difficult, but because a jump is not possible. And that was back like a few days ago before he updated the level, so he supposedly fixed it. But as you can see from this footage, it's still broken. Like there's like a small chance, like a very minuscule chance, that you can actually make that jump. Like jump pads do not fix it. What fixes it is fixing the jump itself. Cause at the speed that you start out the level from, it's like green double arrow modifier mode. From the jump that it shows you, that's not possible at that speed. You have to space the jumps further apart to actually make the jump. Like this is not too much, but even this might be like the long pass to fix it. But like you could just like literally just use the swipe button, and just like basically select all of the objects afterwards at that jump and afterwards, and just place them one block to the right, and that's all I ask, and then that could fix the jump. And the next level, telescopes, that one is actually a pretty good level when it comes to appearance. How it plays, for the most part, until one certain part of the level, it's pretty good. Like it's a pretty smooth gameplay. Now, I'll tell you two parts that are pretty bad when it comes to gameplay. The first one is when you become the robot. It's like at the top of the screen where no one can see it, or where you can see it but you don't expect it, because you would maybe think it's some sort of background. You would think you would have to drop instead. But no, you have to actually use the robot to jump all the way that high up. I didn't even know it was possible to go that high. Well, when it comes to when you try to look at it. Now, the next part that's like the worst out of the level is that there's this slope. The slope, like what he wanted it to the level to play out as, you go up the slope and it would slide you on top of the jump ring, and then you would get to the next platform. But instead, the slope just makes you go over the jump ring. Like when you make levels, you can't just assume that it's gonna work out. You have to test if it works out. He wanted me to play 9 levels, but let's see. Out of all the levels, I've only played 4 of them. Now I'm gonna go in order from the first one to the last one on what's wrong with them if I haven't mentioned them yet. Now I've played Genesis, and that level was like people say it can be inspired by Sirius, that level from Funny Game, but it's pretty much like a knockoff of it. It wasn't really I can't even say it was inspired by it because the effects were like a downgrade. And the level didn't play out that well even in the beginning, because the level would require you, without any warning, like without a block or a sign or like text telling you you're gonna become the robot. In midair you become the robot, and then you think you're still like the mini cube, but instead you're the mini robot. Since you don't know that, you just tap it. If you look at your player though, you can kind of tell, but the way I play, I look at the obstacles that are coming ahead of me before I actually handle them. I don't look at my character. So I became the robot, and then it was all kind of fine and dandy once I got the hang of it. But there's also another part where there's a green jump ring, 2 of them, and you're supposed to use them both and make it over through these 2 obstacles, kind of. So you'll see in the video like how it is very difficult to use those 2 jump rings. Like once you get down the timings, it can be very hard and sometimes very frustrating to replicate, because you have to tap here, then here, then here, then here, or like you can't just go like tap tap. You have to go like tap tap or something, as an example. And once you get past that part, you have the ball part, and it goes by pretty quickly. You kind of know what's going on. But then there's this one part, once again, it's with a slope. He automatically assumes that the slope will send your ball character like moving up on top of like basically the gap between that platform and the next one, and landing it safely. I don't know, man. Like you can't just like play test it like once and then it might work, because there is a small chance that it does work, but it's like a very small chance. None of these levels when it like made me quit because of their difficulty. They made me quit because of how crappy it was made. How like, oh yeah, these jumps look about right, that should work. Okay, this next one, Evolution of Music. In Evolution of Music, what happens is that when you first go into the level, when you first start, for like maybe a second and a half, I don't know how long, and I'm not gonna count that long. Like there's no gameplay at all. It just tells you the title of the level, which you can clearly just pause to see the title. In Evolution of Music, like after you're just doing nothing, the game teleports your ship back like where you would least expect it, and also like this it teleports you, right? And then it expects you to fly immediately, even though you can clearly tell the level was not intended to be a demon. And if it was, well, I feel so sorry for you, man, but like demons take a lot more than that. Your ship, it's supposed to maneuver through these blocks, but how are you supposed to do that if you're not even given enough reaction time? There's also another part during the second wave. The first wave is perfectly fine. Like that was like probably like the least messed up part of the level. Like I can just like it felt like an actual well thought up part of a level. The second wave part, however, is like it's like the complete opposites. At least the normal wave, when you become the mini wave, I can completely understand this where you place like a bunch of blocks at the top and the bottom, more room to go up and down, like be the wave and not die, because doing the mini wave, it's more you move higher and lower way faster than you do as a normal one. But it's the normal wave, a bunch of the blocks that were pretty much copied and pasted from the rocket part from the beginning of the level. The blocks, they were so tightly packed together, and it was like it's a lot more difficult than what the rest of the level was. Basically, the main idea of this video that I'm gonna say is that GodDawg, I refuse to play your levels.